Consul General, can we start with you?
Thank you, Aishikul. I'll try my best. So, first of all, thank you for having me. A very interesting topic that you were putting, on the program this time. So, my name is Regine Grienberger. I was appointed Consul General to the German consulate in August 2024. So, I'm here for a bit more than a year now. And a lot happened during this year. So although I don't consider myself a Turkey expert, I must say that I've seen quite a lot of Istanbul in this year.
Yeah, I imagine 1 year feels like 3 years in Germany.
Absolutely. But I'm posted here for 4 years, so this means then 12 years in a normal life. I'm a trained agricultural engineer and agricultural economist. So I'm a diplomat, but I don't come from law, political sciences, or history like most diplomats do. And that is perhaps also the reason why before I came here, my last assignment was the German cyber ambassador, which is a job at the intersection of technology and diplomacy. And I was also advocating strongly for digital diplomacy because with the digital technologies and the connectivity of digital technologies, on the globe, across the globe, there comes also the need for negotiated international order to set the rules of the road for state behavior in the internet. So this is perhaps also a bit of a background with which I look on to today's question. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina. And I want to share one quick information I learned about Regina this morning. She has a beautiful surname, meaning Green Mountain.
It's a name that fits with my actual profession, agriculture.
Yes. As a technology leader and as a former central bank employee, one of the hottest topics on my radar is central bank digital currencies. Consul General Regina, what is the German position on the introduction of central bank digital currencies?
Thank you for the question. And although I'm not a currency or finance expert, I follow this discussion with a lot of interest. I think like all consumers do, because this will have also effects on the consumer side. When digitization and interconnectivity becomes a standard, why should our money be exempt from it? So when instead of printing money, the central bank now issues digital money, I expect that digital transactions and transfers become much more simple. A recent survey that I saw counted 87 countries that represent over 90% of the global GDP, which are currently exploring central bank digital currencies. And 9 of them have already fully launched a state-owned digital currency. Even in Germany, and we really love our cash money, we saw a shift in payments habits towards digital, towards contactless payments and e-commerce. And that was during the pandemic, during COVID-19. Other than the social distancing during the pandemic, it was also the rise of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Bit of a hype, of course, but also a new technology that was contributing to this trend. I mean, cryptocurrencies have seen significant developments and also value gain. And the technology is very advanced now. And there are more and more applications that allow over an API, so an interface, to also implement a digital currency, which makes it feasible, workable. And this is why Germany now also supports the development of a digital euro as a form of central bank digital currency, but as a complement, not as a replacement to cash. We still love our cash, and it's also a symbol of our national and, in our case, European identity. Let me say a few words on the state of affairs. The European Central Bank and the German Central Bank, the Bundesbank, is part of the European Central Bank system, has concluded the preparatory phase in October of this year. Next steps will include the build-up of technical capabilities and the preparation of pilot tests. We expect European legislation to be entering into force in 2026, next year, meaning that the first pilot will go live in 2027, in 2 years, and the digital euro could be real in 2029. So Germany has always emphasized that a central bank digital currency must be carefully designed, ensuring that the benefits clearly outweigh the risks. And as benefits, we see, as I said, more efficiency with digital payments to be executed in a safe and quick way, especially for cross-border transactions within the SEPA area. On privacy, and that is as a recovering cyber ambassador, I have to say this, our idea is that a digital euro must, but also could offer a very high level of user protection, comparable to that of cash. Privacy is perhaps one of the most important design features for the German public. I see that there are also in the European Parliament a lot of discussions about this element. Another advantage is, of course, that because it will be central bank money, it will be free of charge. So there are no fees for cards or per transaction. Considering that card payments, especially internationally, are controlled essentially by two companies, that is Visa and MasterCard, it has also become a concern that this affects our financial sovereignty. And the digital euro, together with the central bank handling it, will help with that. Some argue that the central bank should leave digital payments to commercial banks. This, however, neglects the fact that already today, that central bank is in charge of most payment or transfer systems. For one example, due to the lack of effective coordination between commercial banks, there is until today no European Union-wide card payment scheme outside of Visa or MasterCard. As risks, we see risks to the financial stability and to the effectiveness, of course, of monetary policy, and also that wrong design choices might threaten cybersecurity and worsen data protection issues in digital payments. The lack of security might turn into a severe lack of trust from users. Security concerns in this digital currency infrastructure, whose security requirements and expectations are high, may turn into a significant loss of that trust. Current analysis by the Bundesbank, so by the German central bank, focusing on the risks, indicate that those risks with the digital euro should be manageable. One aspect is the interbank use, wholesale use. Germany is open to that use of the digital euro as a central bank digital currency, particularly to support high-value payments and transactions on this DLT, so distributed ledger technology. So last point, we are also engaging in an international dialogue on the introduction of digital currencies with other central banks, and the Turkish central bank is included. So we had last year a joint workshop of the Bundesbank with its Turkish counterpart in Istanbul on CBDCs, And we spoke on interoperability, cross-border payments, and financial stability, offline use, and also smart contracting. There is a representative of the Bundesbank that is permanently positioned in the German consulate as the liaison officer.
Let me ask your last question. What role should multilateral international organizations play in shaping the future of the financial landscape?
First of all, in a bit in commenting also what Alan said, I think this example shows clearly that also in the finance sector, financing of big projects has to go beyond national borders.
Right.
Not only because the money is needed, the capital is needed, but also there is a shared interest when it comes, for example, to projects for climate protection, international transport routes. This is something that really connects us on the physical level, and then also, of course, on the financial level. And Germany has always been a strong supporter of this multilateral approach. So to team up, to join forces, to do it together. We consider ourselves to be a middle power, so we need others to go forward. We're not a superpower that can shape the world as we like, but we have to coordinate, we have to cooperate. So for a middle power, it's very important to develop a rules-based order. And this applies also to the international monetary and financial systems. Multilateral institutions are then really decisive for stability of this system. And as I said, only if we have this kind of multilateral cooperation, we can really address global problems, but also make use of global public goods. So climate change, I mentioned it already. Financial inclusion is another one, and you worked on the African continent before. You know that this is really an issue.
Right.
That sustainability, and then there is also this oversight or supervision role of multilateral institutions, which play a major role in ensuring good financial governance, meaning transparency, public participation, also tax policy that is sustainable. Perhaps a couple of words on the IMF as counterpart to the World Bank. We see this also as an anchor of stability. It has played a role also here in Turkey. It monitors this macroeconomic and financial risks. It advises countries, and it provides financial support when needed. I was in the working in the unit that covered the Euro crisis, financial crisis, economic crisis in the years 2008 and afterwards in the European Department of the Foreign Ministry. And I remember very vividly the discussions that we had, especially with our Greek counterparts, on the role that the IMF should have, and we defended, of course, all the time that the IMF should have a role, but it should stick to its core mandate also. So rather than diverging into, for example, development financing or development tasks, so that other institutions like the World Bank are more appropriate. I see it, like you said, the same way. This international financial institutions have really a role, or are essential in mobilizing also private capital, and at the same time supporting structural reforms. So we support very much the multilateral development banks in promoting sustainable development, also infrastructure investments, if climate friendly, and the resilience. And we contribute also funds as Germany in multilateral institutions, for example, in the World Bank, for green development and also for crisis response efforts. And these are needed all the more every year. We also participate as Germany actively in international financial governance forums like G7 or G20. And the presence of my colleague Sebastian as a Bundesbank representative is linked to that. Bundesbank put representatives in all G20 countries to be more aware of the events and of the developments in these partner countries. We also support reforming the international financial architecture to make it more resilient, but also to make it more equitable, especially in response to the global geopolitical challenges, to the climate risks, and also to the debt crisis of some countries. Thank you.
Regina, thank you very much. As one of the biggest economies in the world, Germany, I believe, will play critical roles in the shape of the future money. Thank you for sharing Germany's contributions in these international organizations.
Actually, can I comment briefly on that?
Please.
There was a digital summit of the United Nations. I think it was in 2024, or 4.
Right.
And it all countries, in the United Nations, it's one country, one vote. So all countries were involved in this. And the final statement, so the summit declaration, showed very clearly that there is a really broad, global, universal understanding that digital technologies can help to reach all the sustainable development goals. So you mentioned gender, poverty, and at the technological state where we are at the moment, with smartphones, with handheld personal devices, some countries managed, like Kenya, Rwanda, India, managed to leapfrog other technologies and move directly into online finance and e-finance. And they are really championing also this field. It's very inspiring also for Europe. And I think there is still a lot of room for further development in order to create more access to the financial system, also for people who are not really wealthy or have no infrastructure available to really get through institutions. The digital technologies allow a direct access to finance.
Absolutely.
Indeed. It's a big step forward to the future of capital markets.
Definitely.
So before closing our panel, is there any final remarks you want to make?
I must say, first I start with that. I think that the Turkey in this field, the future of finance is already very advanced. I see a lot of openness with people. They are curious. They experiment also with this. So I think the starting point is very good. For us, from the German point of view, of course, everything is connected. So I wonder if the risks of data protection and privacy, but also cybersecurity. So really information security, keeping the information where it should be and not letting it leak out to, for example, criminal organizations, it is properly handled. I think that is necessary to really keep the trust in this technology. Otherwise, I must say I congratulate the Turkish consumer in being so open and really taking the advantage, benefiting from what these technologies allow.